Doesn't
Forever
matter
present.
how advanced and how powerful his PC is, it'll never end.
Nope.
Speaking of which, we got well, I guess I should save that for the actual show.
Okay.
The tangents were already about to begin. We haven't even started yet.
Balance is fake news. I like that.
Balance is fake news. Specifically, Bungie balance is fake news.
Alright, I'm gonna hit restream chat up. Even though I won't be able to see it because I'm going to be changing windows.
I was actually going to title this Luke Smith is fake news, but it seemed like balance was just the the more prevalent thing. I think I see us. Eat.
Yeah, I got the alert when you went live. That's how I knew it was balance is fake news.
That's how we knew. Right
Okay,
on.
why am I not getting a picture?
I am. It is a 2 players are also supported. Sync up your controller, press A when ready screen.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what
And
I'm
yet
saying.
it's not showing up for some reason. It was
Showing
just
up for me.
It was just a moment ago.
Gosh dang it.
It's showing up for everybody else, so.
Yeah, no. Like on the stream it is. It's just not coming out of my other TV.
Oh, I'm spooked. Your splitter not working?
I don't know. Give me 1 sec. It was working a second ago, so I'm sure it's something minor.
Alright, take your time. Give me a chance to re-pull up any important news stories from this past week.
I thought we were just doing fake news.
I mean, it's all fake news. All of it is fake news.
Okay.
Just have to figure out what fake news we're going to talk about. The Destiny 2 beta, the release date, that's fake news. The specs for Destiny 2 on PC, that's fake news. All of it. None of it is accurate. Yo, already got a couple people there in the chat. What's up, guys? You guys are seeing a little bit behind the Wizards curtain today. We're still in kind of pre-production of the podcast, getting some of the audio and video issues worked out while we prepare here. How's it going, everybody? Oh my God, you need some milk. That is a great name. What type of milk? Soy milk? Almond milk? Regular milk?
No.
Chocolate milk?
Chocolate. Better be chocolate.
Chocolate milk. That's good.
Never been a fan of strawberry milk. Never been a fan.
The only thing I don't like about strawberry milk is the fact that you have to use an absurd amount of syrup to make it sufficiently strawberry.
This is what I come back to.
A little bit of chocolate, and that's it. That's right, Nate. Chocolate milk and strawberry milk, man. We're talking about the milk tier list.
Oh,
for me,
Chocolate milk is top.
Yeah, for me, the milk tier list. Bottom tier would be soy milk, stuff like that. Mid-bottom tier, so right above that would be regular milk. I actually really don't like regular milk.
What percentage?
2%.
2%.
2%. I really don't like 2%. The top tier milks for me are almond milk. So stuff like Silk or any of the other almond milk brands. Those are really good. I can just drink those straight any day. A tier above that would be strawberry milk, and then top tier is chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Chocolate milk is top tier. Every now and again, I like to make a little bit of a chocolate milk and like banana smoothie mix. That is the end and the beginning.
Yummy.
Both simultaneously. Is there any challenge to the official milk tier list?
I think
you
regular
nailed it.
milk should be just under chocolate, but that's just me.
Really? What is your argument for regular milk and what percentage?
All of them are fine. It's just I don't have a problem with it like you do.
You know what?
I have a problem with strawberry milk because one, like you said, it takes way too much syrup, and two, I just don't really like the flavor of it. I like strawberries and I like milk, but just something about them together, not my favorite.
Got to keep my strawberries separate from my milk. Can't
Almond
have
milk
them mixed together.
Almond milk is a solid like high tier, and then regular milk is just above that, and of course chocolate milk is top. But strawberry milk, not my favorite. And soy milk, I've never had soy milk, so I just gotta leave it off my list.
Don't
Ever.
You'd rather have goat milk.
Goat milk's good, sweet.
Yeah, it's got its thing. You want to know what the true toppest tier of milk is, though?
Shoot.
Breast milk.
Somehow I knew that was gonna wiggle.
You knew it was going to this. Everyone here listening knew it was coming to that.
Damn titty milk.
Titty milk. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like when you have a bowl of sugared cereal and you eat all the cereal and you're drinking the milk. That's what breast milk tastes like. Don't ask me why I know that. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of education here. That's basically what human breast milk tastes like. It tastes like the milk that's left over after you've eaten cereal.
Allow me to ask you a question. Have you ever tasted
kind of
sunshine?
Have I ever tasted? Well, I have had Sunny D, so yes, I have
Sunny D
tasted
is the sunshine.
That is the sunshine, and I don't know what that is. That's not orange juice. I don't know what Sunny D is, but it's not orange juice. And
Okay,
I don't know how to feel about that.
I have a follow-up question. What cereal were you eating for the milk to be left over to taste like titty milk?
It really works for any sugared cereal, but if you're asking me,
what you're saying is that your girl had a bunch of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and then you just went like suckling on that, and then it just tasted like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Milk.
I mean, your milk, yours didn't taste like that. Yo,
Nah.
King Vitamin having ass.
I don't really want to know what John's milk tastes like.
My girl was a King Vitamin having it. I think tasted sour straight up.
Milk tasted sour. I'm sorry, John.
Yeah, it was not enjoyable.
I don't know how we got on this tangent, but welcome.
You're the one that brought it up, fam.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 42 of the End of the Week podcast. The one after like a month and a half of not having a podcast. It's been a while.
I blame these two.
Bigger, longer, and uncut. You mean you blame Final Fantasy 14?
I blame Final Fantasy 14 for... actually, I blame you because you had a weak will. You were like, Final Fantasy 14 means more than that.
When was this? I am fairly certain I'm the one who asked every week, are we podcasting? And we all came to the conclusion that, like, we can't.
Multiple weeks you were like, let's not have a podcast. Let's just play Final Fantasy.
Bullshit. I'm the one who asked if we should do a podcast. And then when everybody else was like, I have this, I have that, I can't really. I was like, okay, fine, let's just not.
I understand Sean's reasoning because he had stuff to do on some Saturdays, but there were a couple Saturdays where you were like, Final Fantasy 14 takes precedence. I need to make gains. So I was like,
never once. I dare you to scroll back through the chat.
We have the logs.
We have the proof, John.
That's right.
Putting words in my mouth.
We found the emails. Hold on. You hear that? We found the emails. They're right here.
If you guys are confused about what we're talking about, please refer to the title of this episode.
That's right. And then realize that it's fake news. All of it. Fake news. But what's
I will
up,
sift through this, Nate.
Go for it. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna see who the illegal podcast skipping votes were, and we're gonna bring them to the forefront.
We're gonna make sure that you, the listener, suffer.
Yeah, through all of it, through all of our garbage. But welcome back anyway to the End of the Week podcast. We've got our roundtable of hosts here. I am TheBlackLink. Welcome back. We've got Nate, Mr. HuntArtists.
Yo, I'm playing Splatoon 2.
That's right, and you're also showing off my new Splatoon Bay. What is her name? Marina?
You mean everybody's Splatoon Bay?
No, mine. Only mine. And of course, we've got John, Black Box. What's up, dude?
I'm about to call Nate out on his bullshit.
I mean, if you hear John go silent, just completely silent for the next 35, 45 minutes to an hour or so.
I'm searching through this.
You'll know why.
Go for it. I bet you anything, all you're going to find is me asking if we're doing podcasts, and then no responses until we all get on Final Fantasy.
From 2 weeks ago saying won't be around for the podcast maybe tonight or tomorrow. So that technically wasn't
yeah, that wasn't me telling you I couldn't do a podcast. That was me telling you we couldn't do it that day.
You know it. That was a flake, and you know it.
But he came back on Sunday and was like, Sunday podcast?
Yeah.
And we were like, nah. I remember that week because that was when you were cleaning, and then we were like, nah. Don't worry about it, kid. Don't worry about it.
The search continues.
Triggered.
But all right. Over the course of this podcast, we're going to talk about some of the games we've been playing over the course of the week, and then, of course, get into some gaming news. If you're watching this podcast live or watching the archive of it on YouTube or on, I think, HuntArtists Twitch channel, you can actually see the game we're playing right now is a little bit of that Splatoon 2. So we're going to start things off with that, Nate. You've been playing Splatoon 2. How is it?
It's fantastic, just like the first one. For those of you who are not aware, I'm not the biggest Splatoon guy. I think it's a fantastic looking game. I love the aesthetic. I love the controls. I like everything about it. I can't get into it. So I'm trying again with Splatoon 2. Controls phenomenally. It looks just as good as it did on Wii U. It's portable, which is even better. It's got more single player options. My teammates do not know how to ink our side of the base, so I'm taking care of all that. What's up? Yeah. So please enjoy as we talk about bullshit and you watch me play Splatoon.
That's right. Okay, so I only played Splatoon once, like during one of the global test fires, and then I thought it was fun. I never really got too much into it. What did you not like about the original game?
There wasn't anything that I didn't like. I'm just not a very competitive kind of guy. Like, I don't usually play multiplayer games that involve like teams and things like that. I like co-op games. So in that regard, there's nothing wrong with it per se. It just doesn't scratch that itch for me. Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of funny because this is the game that Nintendo went with for like their competitive environment. And you know what? I'm not going to disparage it. It's certainly got a bit of a competitive atmosphere around it. I always thought it looked like a really fun game. I just never really took the time to try and get into it. Who knows? Maybe I've got a Switch now. You know, I got one of those mythical unicorns sitting here in my gaming area. I might go ahead and just pick this game up and play around with it. Don't get splatted, Nate. Oh, good job. Good job. Nice skill.
I found it, boys.
You found one bit of evidence?
I did.
Let me see.
You have a single fact to back that up?
I do.
Well, let us hear it.
I put it in the chat. Read it in Wheat Boys. Found it.
All right, cool.
Someone's going to have to read it to me because I cannot.
Oh, I guess this was a month that you had to go a month back.
You had to go a month back, and it was probably...
that long. So every bit of evidence from about a month and a half since after...
What's it say? What's it say?
You said, no podcast today, question mark. You said, me too, Barb.
It was when you were sick,
and I said,
Nate.
someone's not excited.
He had to go to the...
Okay, first of all, I'm pretty sure everybody else was also sick, and that's why I said, me too.
I was ready to go. I was like,
I was ready to go.
I'm straight muscle, man. I never get sick.
And they're flexing
even though I was sick a week ago, but I still don't get sick.
As long as it proves me right, I'm always healthy.
I didn't know you were sick though. I just figured that you were so like unenthusiastic about doing a podcast. You just said barfs profusely, so I thought, hey, I guess he's not feeling it.
No, I was super sick.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay, that explains. Okay, Nate, you are dismissed.
Okay,
Nate,
thank you, Sergeant.
Your team won that match in Splatoon, by the way. It totally looked like the purples had more land, but congratulations.
Yeah, we totally wouldn't have won if I hadn't gone around and meticulously splatted our whole side.
That face when she splat.
She splat your bro.
Splat.
You know you have to remake that meme now. You just have to move on and remake that meme with splat now. Just deal with a Splatoon face instead of Prince Charming. Right on. So in addition to Splatoon 2, what are you liking about that game?
Again, the controls are really intuitive. I love that they made it so that you can like what's the word for it? Like you can supplement your aiming with the motion controls. They're not necessary. So you can use them for very fine-tuned turns and things like that. Again, like the option to change from a kid to a squid is just like so intuitive and fits the gameplay so well. Like, it's amazing to me that nobody else has thought of this yet, and or that we don't see a lot of games emulating this.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what Nintendo's there for. They're here to give you the game design things that you never considered.
But again, like, there are a lot of baffling decisions, like you can only play the co-op mode at certain hours during the day.
Yeah, you know, that's such a Nintendo thing to do.
Once you're in a lobby, you cannot change your weapon until you back out, and your friends will stay in that lobby, and you cannot rejoin your friends, so your friends are going to move on to another match, and you're not.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the complaints about Splatoon 1, that you couldn't change, you couldn't see your teammates' loadouts, you couldn't see the enemy's loadout. You can't change your loadout once you're in a lobby. You have to get out of the game to go and change your loadout. and other really questionable things. Like, of course, Nintendo unveiled their mobile app for, you know, VoIP and whatnot. Have you guys taken a look at that?
Yeah, it looks dumb.
It is as terrible as every meme said it was going to be, and I really don't understand how Nintendo is still making the kinds of mistakes that they make in 2017 with their online infrastructure. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that in the news section, but
Wait a
you
minute,
can only like join your friends if you're using the app for VoIP, and like there's a lot of really questionable things about Nintendo's mobile app, and it's absolutely not good enough for online gaming in 2017.
I agree.
I agree as well.
I think that we were so underwhelmed by it, we just all like had a moment of silence for us to just hold that L, because
we
I don't
really
know.
have to.
We just have to hold it, because that's something that Nintendo is putting resources into that they could be putting somewhere else into something that kind of matters.
And I mean, and the product that they're putting out isn't good enough. It's just not good enough. Their mobile app. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about the mobile app. It's supposed to, you know, provide party services for the Nintendo Switch. Why that's not built into the console itself, I don't know. It also is supposed to provide voice chat services for the Nintendo Switch.
On the one hand, it makes a lot of sense because, wow, we lost big time. What, we won? What? Okay, sure. When you're on the go, you're not going to be able to use Wi-Fi everywhere, so you want to be able to use the 4G of your phone or whatever, what have you, your LTE. So that way you can stay connected to your friends at all times. That makes sense. And Nintendo doesn't want to be responsible for being the company that puts 4G on their console and makes you pay for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Even
let the
though
phone...
that's what they, like, marketed the 3DS on, remember?
Yeah, let the phone companies hold that all. But, yeah, it makes sense on paper, and just, like, in execution, it's so tedious. I never ever want to have to connect to my Switch and then my phone and then dial up on my phone and then...
And like, there's also just little twerks about it that just are nonsensical. If you're trying to use voice over IP, it shuts off if your phone goes to its lock screen. I mean, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean, Nintendo? That's like anybody. Basic phones go to their lock screen after like 30 seconds of not touching anything. You mean you have to be constantly tapping your phone to keep it from going on standby to stay in your voice chat? Some games basically you join parties via this app on the phone itself, and like you can't get into a party with your friends or queue with your friends if you're not using the app. It's just so many questionable decisions. It's like, why would you make an app like that? Like I said, every meme about Nintendo, a horror story about what the Nintendo online infrastructure app was going to be like, is absolutely true. Absolutely true, and it's unacceptable in today's day and age. I really don't get it. Boy,
It's very baffling. Like,
it is.
I also feel like this is another way for them to monitor, like, what kids are doing. Like, kids can't talk to people unless their parents give them a phone.
No, Nintendo. Just be normal. Just be normal. Love your quirks in most gaming environments, but come on, just be for party stuff. Just be normal. Just it's 2017. Just be a bit more normal.
All we ever wanted, yeah.
But anyways, moving on. What else you been playing this week, Nate?
I've been playing a bunch of 14. I got a mutual friend of ours into the game, and he's been playing, and I've been leveling up an alternative character to, alternate, not alternative, character to kind of
alternative facts.
Yeah, to introduce him to the game. Yeah, dead. Introduce him to the game. That's been a lot of fun. I've been playing Ever Oasis on 3DS. That's quite good.
I've been seeing a lot of that. Yeah.
Okay, so it's good. It's just not meaty, and it's like not RPG-ish enough that it just kind of like falls flat in a lot of regards. Like, it's really cute, and the story is okay. Like, the story is really garbage, actually, but it's like it's endearing. So like, whatever.
So it's just not like it. So it's a Japanese RPG, but it's not very RPG.
Yeah, like It's got
very Japanese. That's another question.
it's got smatterings of like Rune Factory, in that like you have to find materials and craft them into weapons and armor and things like that. That's all really great. It's got a bit of Legend of Zelda in there, which is also really good. It's got a little bit of like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles in a way.
Ooh.
It's all those things, but it's like a jack of all trades but master of none.
Mm-hmm.
Like the combat's very shallow. There's like 5 types of enemies. The crafting could use way more. Wow, I am on a streak. That's my 3rd victory in a row. Nice. But yeah, like overall, I'd give it like a B+. Like it's cute, it's funny. It's like a Secret of Mana game-ish, which I mean, like, is always great.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same guy who made Secret of Mana, so
yeah, that's not surprising. But in short, like you're a little like a synopsis of the game. You're a little seed person, and you're growing up with your brother in a little development in the middle of the desert. And then one day, a bunch of shadowy plants show up, and your brother has the magic to blow them away. But unfortunately, he's not strong enough. This is like the biggest wave of darkness he's ever seen. So he blows you away to the middle of the desert, and you land right in front of a little pond. And in that pond is a water spirit who helps you build your own settlement. Because your brother is surely dead, so like in honor of his memory, you're building a development just like he did. And that's how things go, and like the darkness shows back up at your development, and you've got to find the wind magic to blow it away, and yeah, it's really cool.
Interesting. I mean, when I had a very, Secret of Mana sort of vibe to it, so I assumed it just played like that game, or that series of games did. But, I mean, I didn't really know what to expect from it, but good. That's good. Got anything else?
No, that's about it.
Is that Final Fantasy 14?
Yeah, that's been the majority of it.
All day, every day.
And now this, I'm playing Splatoon 2.
Mm-hmm. It's good. I'm enjoying watching some of the Splatoon 2 gameplay here. All right, John, what you been up to this week, man?
Basically just playing Final Fantasy like you and Nate, essentially.
You guys played the
I haven't
Destiny
gone
2
back-
beta?
I'll let that roll over. That was a bare bones experience.
I mean, that'll be a segment we speak about in just a bit. So
if they wanted to make it a good bit, they should have at least like a patrol. That's just my opinion. Other than that, though, I've been playing a lot of Dark stuff. Been going back to that game a lot recently. Been some of my good characters. About to go maybe clear a bunch of the big like level 6 bosses and then do the actual Darkest dungeon. But other than that, just been playing a lot of Final Fantasy with you and Nate, grinding up Samurai, bought Black Mage to 60. That was fun. I've been playing it a lot on like my leveling roulettes. And now just chilling. Nothing really been going on too much this week other than like, I don't know, playing Final Fantasy, playing a little bit Darkest Dungeon, and chilling with you guys.
now, Darkest Dungeon, the new DLC just came out for that, right?
Yeah, but not on console. I could buy it on my PC game, but I kind of just want to play it. Because I actually haven't played it in like almost a year. So there are some new things on console that I haven't played yet. Mostly, I think the Antiquarian wasn't out when I last played. Kind of new. She makes the monies basically.
Yeah.
If you put her in your party, she just stacks gold and stacks that you can just sell at the end of dungeons and stuff. So she makes a lot. I mean, she hits like a wet noodle, but if you can make it through a dungeon with her in your party, you're pretty much like set for like a good couple of weeks. Yeah, I've been enjoying my journey back to that game. It's still hard as I'm still losing heroes left and right.
Rip.
I still have to try out a lot of new party comps that I didn't really try, because back when I first played, I just had one set party comp and that's all I used. I had a little bit of variation, but not too much. In this, I'm trying out a whole new stuff. So it's like playing the game like fresh again, which is nice.
And this is the new DLC is the one that adds in like the Curse of Blood stuff and
Crimson
vampires.
Court, yeah,
There
it's
we
adding
go.
adding all that, and it's also adding a new character called the Flagellant, which
Mhm.
he's just all about self inflicting pain to himself, and once you inflict, he just goes bonkers and starts bopping everything, including your party. But he hits like a truck, so it's almost worth it to keep him in your party.
Sounds
Also,
smelly.
I've seen a lot of solo bosses with him. They just load up. Because I think with this new Crimson Court update, they added the feature for you to take one person or as many as you want into a dungeon. You're not set to 4.
Okay.
If you just want to take 2 or 3, or maybe even want to challenge yourself. So a lot of people have been doing some flagellant runs, some man-at-arms runs. They've been trying to just like see how far they can push this game, because it is hard as shit. Like it will.
Yeah,
kick
it's a
you.
rough game.
It will kick you while you're down. You're like, oh no, please don't kill my mans, and then they will specifically target that person, and you're just like, well, gotta go grind up a new one of those.
Mhm.
And then you're sad about it for like a good 10 weeks, and then you get them back, and then they just die on you.
A good 10 weeks. See, that's I know there's permadeath in Darkest Dungeon, and that spooks me because it's like you spent 10 weeks building up this awesome party,
Well,
and then like
10,
one of them
10
gets
weeks
spooked,
in game, which is like 10 dungeon runs.
catches syphilis and dies.
Yeah.
You took him to the prostitute house, and boom, syphilis,
Yeah.
dead.
But like, there's certain like quirks in the game where this person will only go relieve their stress, and you
Mhm.
stick them in there, and then they come out with syphilis, and you, well, I got to stick them back in the sanatorium now, because now I got to get rid of that disease.
Yep.
Yep.
There's a lot to
And
balance in that game, but it
it
definitely
is.
looks like it's a very fun game.
It is. It's a lot of micromanaging. It's a really good rogue like RPG if you're into that sort of thing. If you're into, it reminds me a lot of like, what's the game? I guess like classic Final Fantasies, but with extra like layers of stress
Mhm.
and bleeds and blights and other things that you really have to stay on top of mid combat to really like get any sort of progression. Because if you don't, your characters are just gonna die. You really have to stay on top. Character have a disease? Does this character have a quirk I don't like? Does this character stress their stress? It's just a whole lot of stuff you really need to stay on top of if you want to get a good experience out of it. Because if not, you're just gonna rage and quit and never play it again, which a lot of
Yeah.
people have. It's not for the fan of heart. If you grow attached to certain characters and they just flop on the ground dead, you really like, it just hurts. And then you have to go and like take another one and build it back up.
No.
It just,
It's a very particular type of game, man, and yeah, definitely not for the faint of heart. If you're not okay with like perma loss, you might have a rough time with Dankest Dungeon.
mm,
That's fantastic.
yep, June, big.
I think that game would hurt my feelings.
It really would. It will make you salty. You'll be sitting there like, well,
Just
that person
mad about it.
Yeah, you really have to play like parent. Well, does this person need something? Does this person need something? Does this person need something?
I am on a roll.
Pop him, Nate. Give him hands.
But all right, I guess for me, you guys know what I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of the Destiny 2 beta. I guess we'll start off with that. So we had that. We had the Destiny 2 beta. It started on the 18th for PlayStation 4 people and opened up on the 19th for Xbox One people. Went on until the 21st. We got to get a really good feel for the game, and overall, I like it. I think Destiny 2 is going to be pretty darn good. I did have a whole video getting my thoughts and stuff about it. So if you want a more in-depth look at the game, you can go check that out on my channel. But for the most part, I thought it was a pretty good beta. There's a lot I liked about it. I like the story design. I like the strike design. I like the direction they're going in for Crucible. I think 4v4 is an improvement. I still hope we have a 6v6 game mode, maybe for a big team battle or like combined arms or something, or Mayhem. I think Mayhem could be 6v6 just fine.
That you like the strike design. I'm actually kind of curious.
I do like the strike design because it's really not that much different from Destiny 1 strikes. I made this mention in my overall thoughts video. A lot of people are super praising the strike as like the best Bungie's ever done. It's not that different from.
It's average in my opinion.
Yeah, it's about the same as the strikes you experience in Destiny 1. It's just prettier,
Towards
bigger.
the end of Destiny 1, like the year 3 and year 2 strikes. It's
Like,
very similar to those. It just has that dynamic boss fight where it just drops a bunch of levels, and even the boss fight, it's still a bullet sponge and it's health gated.
Yeah,
it's not
that different. It's not that different at all. I mean, and certainly there are some improvements there. It is a lot more akin to, say, the Sepix Prime Reborn or Sepix Perfected or the redone Nexus than it is to, like, some of the year 1 and year 2 strikes. There was no instance where you go and hold square for 3 rounds. There wasn't that there. There was no real instance where you just kind of had to sit back and unlock a door. It was a pretty free-flowing strike, and I appreciate that, and I enjoy that. It was a good strike. But yeah, ultimately at the end, it was still a bullet sponge boss who is health gated. It's neat that, he has 3 different phases that you go through, and one of the phases is basically the floor is lava, don't touch it. But, really not that different from a lot of the stuff we saw in Destiny 1. Oh my lord, one of those squids just said, "My dad beats me."
One of them is my mom left us at Best Buy.
Oh my goodness. This is what Nintendo was afraid of by having any sort of social interaction in their online games. But you can't hide it. It's just what happens. It's just what happens in an online game. And it's beautiful. This is the internet. But yeah, I thought it was a good strike. I'm interested in seeing what they've got coming forward with the other strikes in the game. Now, I agree with you, John. I think that they probably could have put a little bit more into this beta. They were definitely holding back, trying to
show their hand.
Yeah, they didn't want to show their hand, and I think sure, that's fine. You don't want to spoil the game for people, but with this beta, they were trying to kind of reel in a more casual audience and definitely reel in the people who played, like Nate, who played Destiny during year 1. It wasn't their thing. They moved on. The people who especially played during year 1 and were like, oh, is this all there is to in-game? Grinding strikes over and over and over again and playing a raid once a week? No thanks. That crowd is what Bungie's trying to get back, as well as a crowd of entirely new people. And I don't think you do a fantastic job of that by giving those people, especially those people whose complaint was that there wasn't a lot of really unique content in the game, a beta that has 1 repeatable strike and 2 PvP game modes. And
Also,
you just get to play that over and over.
Wasn't there a rumor that we were going to get an additional story mission and we never got it? I mean, it was just a rumor, but
it was a rumor, and what they meant was it was the initial story mission for Homecoming, and the second story mission was the strike. That's what that meant.
That's not a story mission. That's a strike. Come on,
correct.
You can't just categorize it.
That's I don't remember who reported that, but that's what they meant.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, I think they probably could have put a little bit more in the beta. I mean, you think about a beta for Call of Duty. What does a Call of Duty beta have? Almost all of the vanilla game modes and all of the vanilla PvP maps, all of them. What did the Destiny 1 beta have? It had at least 1 strike. It had PvP. It had all of the Earth missions as well as Earth Patrol. So that was 1 entire planet available for the beta. It gave you a great look at what Destiny was going to be. And ultimately, the beta for Destiny is why I started playing the game, because I thought, oh, wow, this is fantastic. I'm really enjoying this.
The only thing that Destiny 2 had on, or the Destiny 2 beta had on Destiny 1 beta, is the fact that it had 2 game modes. That's it. I mean, it had 2 maps the same as Destiny 1.
Yeah.
But Destiny 2 had Countdown and Control. Destiny 1 only had Combined Arms. Well, at the time, it was considered Control.
Yeah, it was just Control back then.
But the fact that that's the only thing that the D2 beta had on the D1 beta, I mean, considering that the D1 beta was by... Actually, D1 beta had 3 maps. It had Bastion,
First Light, Bastion,
and Shores of Time. It had
and Shores of
maps.
Time. You're right. It did have 3 maps.
So, granted, you had less content in this beta than you did in the Destiny 1 beta. Destiny 1 beta had exploration. It had patrols for the entire beta.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that Bungie show their hand, but there comes a time where, like you said, you want to rope players that you lost from Destiny 1 back into the franchise, and you didn't do a very, very good job by, restricting content like this. Granted, the content that was there was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
It was just not enough to hang around for.
Right. I mean, how many days of the beta did you play, John?
Like 3, 4, maybe.
Yeah, we played for.
And it wasn't for like very long. It was like an hour or maybe 2 hours.
And most of that time was spent in Countdown, the new PvP game mode, because that was good. But yeah, there really wasn't a lot of content there. I only ran the strike like 3 times.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, I only ran the strike, like, I think once just per all 3 characters. And I wanted to go back through and run it on all 3 of the subclasses, but I couldn't convince myself to because it was the same strike over and over. I just didn't really feel like playing the same bit of content nonstop. And again, not to say that the beta was bad. The Destiny 2 beta was great. There's a lot I really enjoyed about it. But yeah, I think they could have put a little bit more in there. I understand why they didn't, but they probably could have. What's up?
I didn't play on Warlock or Hunter after these story missions.
Yeah, I remember you just stayed on your class.
I couldn't convince myself. It's like, why would I want to play through the I've already played?
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I get to use the new class
and the new exotics, and yeah. Because I thought that was a good idea, having a different exotic based on which class you played. I thought that was pretty cool.
I wish I would have played on the Hunter because I really wanted to try out the Arcstrider.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it, but I don't think I really played the class the way it was supposed to be played. I played it once, and that was... Warlock, I couldn't really care. I mean, Dawnblade's cool, but White Walker, I just want to whoever...
Well, remember, Voidwalker, the neutral game on Voidwalker is great.
Great,
now.
yeah.
It's just the super sucks.
Just want to strangle whoever made that change. Like, what are you doing?
Stop.
Get some help.
But other than the strike, which I thought was a pretty good strike, the story mission, which was great. I can't wait to see what the other story missions are going to entail. PvP. Let's talk a little bit about the changes to PvP because, of course, there are a lot. It's 4v4 now rather than 6v6. I thought Control was okay. It was a smaller map, so it was pretty fast-paced. Rather than it being he who controls the middle controls the match, it was he who controls and knows how to pivot wins the match.
Exactly.
And I found the most success pivoting between A and C was generally the best way to handle things. Brain dead teammates still cost you the match.
I mean, that's going to be a given in like
any
game.
Yeah.
And you're right. Pivot flags were so undervalued in Destiny 1 because everyone tried to control their spawn, and the maps were, albeit a little too big for you to like try and pivot back and forth. Like, I think the closest map to the map we got in the beta was Shores of Time. Granted, because it looks like a Venus map, and also because there's caves between A and C. It's kind of similar in the way it plays. However, the map is much smaller because it is a 4v4 type of PvP. And like you said, pivoting is a lot more beneficial in this game, and it's a lot easier. And it can net you a lot more too, because you have map control over A and C. They spawn at like outside of A and C towards B if you have those 2 pivots, and it really pushes them back if you can control those 2. It's a lot easier to like do than it was in Destiny 1. It's a lot more beneficial as well.
The benefit of the smaller map is really apparent on the what was the name of the control map? Endless
Not
Veil.
sure.
Is that it?
I didn't really pay attention to the.
I think it was the Endless Veil, and it was a smaller map. And yeah, pivots were really, really powerful on that, and I like that because it kept the game moving. Of course, they made a bunch of changes to the control playlist. You no longer have to cap a home point at the start of the match, so everybody can just either rush for a pivot or rush for B. And it was just a very active game mode, and I like that. There wasn't a whole lot of camping going on in it. Everybody was constantly on the move. And overall, I like the way PvP feels. I think primary times to kill could probably still be bumped down a little bit, made a little bit faster, but overall, it felt really smooth. It felt really fun, and I think I'm going to enjoy the full game when it comes out. A lot of people are having a problem with the dual primary system, like the kinetic and then energy weapon. I'm actually liking it. I'm digging the dual primary system. I like being able to run into a gunfight with a hand cannon and a scout rifle. I still think a little bit of balance needs to be done for the power weapons, but good lord, the fusion rifle, that thing.
I'm actually glad the way that the rifle plays, but
me too. I hope they don't
need to be bumped up, but it's going to be Bungie power dip, so it's going to happen. They're just
in particular, the grenade launcher was probably the worst power weapon.
It was the worst, and it was the best thing in like the alpha build.
Yeah, in the that disc goes to prove that the build we got for the beta was a little bit different, at least from the Destiny 2 reveal event, and probably the E3 build, because the grenade launcher was by far the best power weapon in those builds, and it's easy to see that Bungie kind of tuned that back a bit, because the grenade launcher was terrible. You had to land a grenade on center mass direct hit to get a kill. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you had to shoot 2 to 3 shots with a grenade launcher to kill someone. They definitely went a little bit overboard on the nerfing of that thing, but that's were slapping people. They felt really good. I really hope they don't get nerfed, but this is Bungie we're talking about. Balance is Bungie, balance is fake news.
I added that fusions and shotguns better inside of PvE now.
Yeah.
However, the thing that was absent from the beta, which a lot of people aren't about, is LMGs.
Yeah.
You don't get to see any LMGs in the beta.
You don't think they're taking those away, do you?
No, I don't think they're taking them away. I just felt like they were still tuning them at the time of the beta. I don't think they had them in the sweet spot that they desired, and then they just said, let's keep them out of the beta. Let's do rockets, grenades, shotguns, and fusions, and see how the community reacts to it.
It's not unheard
of.
They
really wanted to see. I think they really wanted to see how shotguns and fusions played in PvE.
I can agree with that.
I mean PvP. I think they were well actually both.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they said, all right, since we these 2 things to the power slot along with snipers too, we kind of want to see how they play in both game modes and both environments, and then tune them from there. I feel like fusions are going to get a nerf, which sucks because they play amazingly inside of PvE now, so they're probably going to get nerfed.
And I didn't think they were overpowered. They were just good. Finally, they were competitive, and all the other power weapons were just underwhelming.
Snipers, they felt. Granted, I don't snipe, but
it felt weak to me.
Yeah, at least inside of PvP. PvE, they just felt kind of wonky.
Mm-hmm.
They felt like they had a little too much idle sway, and I guess because the one we got, it had like a built-in silencer. It sounded like it was just like a fart shooter.
It did.
It was just like, just wasn't cutting it. And shotguns felt fine. I tried.
They felt good.
They felt fine. I mean, it's a power weapon. It better slap. Rockets only getting 1 rocket per heavy pull. Don't know if I agree with that. When fusions get like 6 bolts.
I think that was pretty obviously part of their balance issues, because they were worried about rocket launchers, and they were worried about shotguns and whatnot being a bit too, and grenade launchers being a bit too strong. I think that's probably going to be a little bit different when the full game comes out.
I feel like shotguns should get the same amount of ammo as fusions do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you should give rockets at least 2
shots. Yeah,
2 shots of rockets.
And maybe that'll be an armor ability. If you have armor ability that allows you to carry more rocket ammo, maybe you'll get 2 rather than 1. Who knows?
Buff grenade launcher so that direct impacts kill. But if you hit anywhere outside of like 3 meters, it takes 2 grenades to kill and give them 4 shots.
Yeah.
That way you're at least guaranteed maybe 2 to 3 kills if you play it right. And snipers, just remove idle sway. Just give snipers what they want. They don't want to deal with a clunky sniper. At least in my
Yeah.
opinion, I don't. But some people may feel differently. It's just not my cup of tea the way they are right now.
Yeah, so a little bit of weapon balance definitely needs to be done. Auto rifles felt pretty good, but I guess moving forward, PvP, it felt better than Destiny 1 PvP feels right now, which might make some of you laugh because that's not exactly something hard to achieve, but it felt good, and I think there's been a lot of really good changes with Destiny 2's PvP.
4v4 probably the best thing.
Yeah, that was a really good change. And I
They've
think
done.
I really enjoyed the countdown mode, the competitive game mode. We had a lot of fun playing that, and I think that's going to be probably one of my favorite game modes moving forward. We were getting down in there, and so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Beyond that, it was a decent beta. I'd like to see more of the game. I definitely can't wait for the PC beta to come out. That's going to be hitting on August 28th. So just a few weeks from now, I'll be able to get that on PC. It's coming out on the 28th if you pre-order the game.
Oops.
The 29th for everyone else, and it'll be going until the 31st. Definitely very excited for that. The game looks great on PC, and I'm gonna enjoy playing that quite a bit. But all right, other than that, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14. You guys know how that is. Leveling, crafting stuff now. I got armor to 70, getting blacksmith up to 70 now. Gonna work on the rest of those classes. Nothing really to kind of dive into there. But all right, that's pretty much it. Unless anybody else has got a game that they want to talk about this week.
Nah, I'm good.
Nah, you good? Shall we talk about some of the fake news going on right now?
Sure, might as well.
If we must.
All right, so first up in fake news, Bungie held a farce of an AMA, if you were to ask me, yesterday for IGN and their first series, where they basically answered nothing. Nothing of value was asked and nothing of value was answered. We got to learn super important bits of information like, our protagonist is going to be remaining silent throughout all of Destiny 2, which has got part of the community in a tizzy and part of the community saying they don't care. I don't really know how you feel about that, John. Personally, it doesn't bother me too much. I do think it's a little bit weird. We went from year one, Destiny 1, having a protagonist who at least spoke and was somewhat expressive throughout the story, to someone who hasn't said a word for 3 years. I think that's a little on the jarring side, but ultimately it's not too different. Another thing is that the vehicles in Destiny 2 will be single pilot only, so there's not going to be any co-op vehicles, a la like the Scorpion tank from Halo 2. If you can remember some of the co-op experiences in that, when you got to the tank in story mode, and you could just hop in there, and your buddy who's playing with you could just hop on the side gun. That was one of my favorite moments of the Halo series, and that's not going to be a thing in Destiny 2, which bums me a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. We also got the announcement of a brand new weapon in Destiny 2, the Coldheart Exotic Trace Rifle. It's part of a brand new archetype of weapons called Trace Rifles, although I'm remiss to call it that because there's only one weapon in the archetype right now, that being the Coldheart. And it's pretty cool. It's basically, if you remember the Sentinel beam from Halo, Nate, just that constant heavy beam of damage.
Yeah.
That's basically what the Coldheart's going to be. It is going to be a pre-order bonus for people who pre-order the game. You're going to be getting it in some capacity when the game launches, and then it'll become available for everybody else in December. Interesting way to approach that. There's also a couple of other pre-order bonuses. If you pre-order at Game in the UK or at GameStop, you also get an exclusive ghost that has a kill tracker on it, ? Did you see that, John?
Yeah.
For PvP?
For PvP and PvE, it'll show the total number of kills that you've gotten in either game mode.
I think it's just like a basic pre-order. I think if you pre-order it's like the digital deluxe, GameStop, and I think, what was the one you said in Europe? No, is it like a certain like outlet that like has the offer?
Yeah, game.
Is that
Yeah, it's just called
Wow.
game.
marketing?
GameStop was taken, so why not just take the most generic video gaming name you can have?
Game.
Aren't they the same company? I'm pretty sure they're
They
just
might
the same company, but in
Actually
different
be.
in regions. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, you know, and whatever. It's a cosmetic ghost. I think it's kind of scummy to put that kind of thing, a kill tracker, which really should be a function of every ghost.
It sounds like a
On
feature that
pre-order
they're
ghost for a specific company.
forcing people to pay for.
A basic function of your ghost, not something that's special and to a pre-order bonus. But we know how Activision likes to handle pre-order bonus. So I saw a lot of people getting super mad at Bungie for putting an exotic in they get to make. I don't know how many times we've said that, but that's not a decision Bungie gets to make. That's a decision Activision gets to make. And thankfully, at the very least, with the Cold Heart Trace Rifle, it's not going to be exclusive to PlayStation. It's not going to be held off for a year. Everyone who didn't pre-order it will be able to get their hands on it in December of this year. So at least it's only a few months.
Which is when the next DLC.
That's right. That's when the first DLC pack for Destiny 2 is going to be launching. So it's probably going to be a part of that.
Yep. December 5th.
So that's pretty much all the Destiny fake news. Oh wait, no, we got the PC specs for. Like it's going to be actually not that demanding to run Destiny 2 on your PC.
Good.
Let me pull up the This Week at Bungie. Yeah, Nate, you're actually good to go with 4K Destiny.
Sweet.
Like,
Ouch.
your PC is right up to par with that. The recommended specs are around the Core i5 2400 or AMD Ryzen R5 1600X area, which is solidly in the mid tier of CPUs. And GPU-wise, the GeForce GTX 970 or a Radeon R9 390, which is definitely of which you're above Nate, so you should be good to go.
Sweet.
Oh, knowing Nate's technical difficulties, it's not going to be that easy.
That's what I just installed.
I've been PC gaming for a while now.
Install Siva. It'll handle it for you.
I've been doing Final Fantasy on nothing but PC.
Install Chinese Monster Hunter, Nate. Come on.
No, don't do that.
I've already made that mistake once.
I know. Do
And
it again.
It took us a full afternoon, several hours to get that cleaned up.
Scrub.
That was a rough day of
And that was me following the guide made by Kogath for getting it.
Oh lordy, no thank you, to the Chinese Monster Hunter software. But the minimum specs for it are going to be around the Intel Core i3 3250 or AMD FX 4350 level of CPUs, and for GPUs, the GTX 660, that's the 2 gig version, and the Radeon HD 7850. These are CPUs and GPUs from like 5 years ago. So if you have a PC that's even remotely recent, you're probably going to have what you need to be able to play Destiny 2 on PC optimally. If you're looking to hit the same sort of stats that Bungie was hitting, the same sort of specs that they were hitting at the D2 reveal event where they were streaming the game in 4K, they were running off an Intel i7 7700K. That is a workhorse Intel CPU, and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti. That is a top-of-the-line graphics card, the new big offering from NVIDIA. That's the graphics card that I have. It's like $700.
You got 2 of them.
I don't have 2 of them.
I thought you bought 2 of them.
I want to have 2 of them, but I can't justify it. There's no real benefit right now.
Do it.
Maybe. But a bit of good news about Destiny 2 is that according to an interview actually with Tefty Teft from the Destiny 2 reveal event, the Destiny 2 is going to be able to take advantage of multi-core CPUs. Right now, a lot of games don't do that. So if you've got a CPU with like 6, 8, 10 cores, most games really only take advantage of like the first 4. Which makes your game running experience a lot more smooth. And thankfully, a lot of the newer CPUs, like the AMD Ryzen series of CPUs, like what I'm running a 1700, which is an 8-core CPU. It's very, very good for processing. And it looks like Destiny 2 is going to be able to take advantage of those cores. Destiny the moment it comes out. So look forward to those live streams over there on YouTube Gaming. I'm going to see if I and break their servers with some 4K Destiny 2 PC live streams. Should be a good time. But all right, that's pretty much it for the Destiny news. In other news, Sega decided to make their own Genesis Classic. And do you smell that?
That's the lack of Sonic 3 that they didn't put on the console. What are they doing?
John, did you have the list of games that were on this Sega Genesis thing?
Sure, let me go ahead and pull it up. It's Sega. I had a
Yeah. So we already saw that Atari's doing the same thing. Based off the success of the Nintendo NES Mini and the upcoming Super Nintendo Mini, we've seen other gaming companies from the past basically come out and try to do the same thing. Activision's coming out with their own little mini console with a bunch of games on it, and now Sega has announced their own, and I think it's already been reviewed. So I think you guys said IGN gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yo.
I wonder what was their, do you know what their reasoning was for that?
They said that 33% of the games that are on the system, which is were quote unquote hot garbage.
Hey, IGN reviewed a thing right.
They did it. They reviewed a thing right and didn't shill for a company.
All right. So that it is a $80 retro console.
Okay.
It is made by the same people that made the have a lack of games that some people were thinking that were going to be on it. For instance, Gunstar Heroes, the Genesis version of Aladdin, which was a straight banger, or the Aladdin game on SNES or Genesis. Do yourself a favor; it's a great game. Earthworm Jim wasn't on it. Classic. Contra Hardcore and Castlevania Bloodlines are absent, but that's not the only one, and that's not the main one that people are kind of scratching their heads over. Sonic 3 is surprisingly missing. Actually, I should say unsurprisingly missing, considering that I think we were talking about this earlier, Sean, that Sonic 3 is probably the least ported of the original Sonic games that were released on Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
There's got to be some kind of licensing somewhere. One of the
Michael
musicians
Jackson from the grave, like, can't have it.
I don't think it's Michael Jackson. But
I mean, that's so weird because they've put Sonic 3 in like their collections games. Like the Sonic Mega Collection has Sonic 3 in it. And this Genesis thing has Sonic and Knuckles. It's got Sonic and Knuckles, but not Sonic 3. How do you? That's like putting half of a game on your stinking console. I'm going through the IGN article right now, and it's like they say 28 games in this collection. About 33% of the overall games in this thing are straight garbage. The sound is messed up in a lot of them. Many games garble the audio and introduce pops and stutters. And it's just it's like it's a mediocre product. It's just I don't understand how you mess this up, Sega. How do you mess this up? You've got the classic game. You've got the blast processing. Just put the games on the thing, and somehow they managed to screw it up with the what is it? The Sega Genesis Classic.
Yeah.
Sega Genesis flashback.
Streets of Rage didn't make it.
That's an L.
Echo the Dolphin didn't make it.
well, that's fine. We can live with that.
No, you can't. Echo the Dolphin.
I need my dolphin alien encounters name.
Toe Jam and Earl didn't make it.
L. Is Rystar on it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so they got Rystar, but they didn't
they
get
got-
Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Beyond Oasis isn't on there.
Mm-hmm.
However, Golden Axe 1, 2, and 3, Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, Rystar, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Spinball, Drift 2, Chaos, 3D Blast, Sonic and Knuckles without Sonic 3.
That doesn't make sense to me. How do you take advantage of lock-on technology without Sonic 3?
But the one title on here that may make it worth the $80 price tag has to be Dr. Robotnik's Mean Beam Machine. I gotta say, Sean, that's the one title that's just making me think, man, I gotta have this.
That's it.
Also-
That's the pull.
Also, Fantasy Star 4 is on there as well, which is
Hey,
Good
if
job.
you want your classic super grindy RPGs, there you go. Phantasy Star 4.
you got
Good
that one
stuff.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Vectorman 1 and 2 are on there.
Thank God.
That's good.
So-
That's good.
So they got some of them right.
It's just
for the-
weird, man. It's like odd choices.
Yep.
I don't
Very, very
understand
odd.
it. I think it's fake news. I'm pretty sure that the Sega Genesis flashback is fake news.
I think
it
it's
doesn't actually
straight
exist.
straight garbage news.
It is. Yeah, it is 33% straight garbage. I don't know. It's just a really, really weird, questionable decision.
Also,
to not have
98
certain-
hot gas.
98% hot gas, and it's like, and it's an $80 device. If you want to go ahead and pick that thing up, I wouldn't recommend it via other avenues. So you can, like, there's plenty of Sonic Mega collections you can go and pick up.
Yeah.
There's the Phantasy Star collection. I'm pretty sure they've ported all those Phantasy Star games to mobile. It might be better to play it on mobile than on the $80 Sega Genesis flashback.
And I bet you anything the $80 Sega Genesis flashback doesn't have the enhanced versions of Sonic 1 and 2 on them. It probably has the original ROM.
Probably.
Well, I mean, yeah, and based on what they said about the sound design being or the sound being garbled and messed up on a lot of these games, you're probably right about that. You are probably completely correct, and that bums me because it's a large part of my childhood. Yeah, and
Just go buy the Sonic Mega collection for the game.
there you
Just
go.
do it.
That's
That's
it.
all you need.
It's got a bunch of great original music in there too.
Mhm.
The comic menu music is fantastic. Options menu music is fantastic, and you get to watch a bunch of like trailers and stuff for old Sonic games, like the original trailer for Sonic Adventure.
Yes.
It's good stuff. But all right,
What-
do we have anything else?
Talking about Niantic getting sued.
Yeah, Niantic's getting sued because they burgered up last weekend with their Pokemon. Complete and total disaster. I like to call them the failing Niantic. They're bad. It's fake news all over the place. They said you'd be able to come and play Pokemon. You couldn't play Pokemon. They said if you like your Charizard, you can keep your Charizard. Total lie. 28 times.
Hillary Clinton got an Articuno. I didn't. Fake news.
That's right. She owns actually all of the means of Articuno production.
Why is nobody talking about this?
Why is no one talking about it?
Everybody likes to talk about the fact that I
They
put
really
a
do.
Snorlax in the gym for 10 months. Not true. Fake
It was 8
news.
months. It was fake news, all of it. But yeah, Niantic's Pokemon Go Fest was a bit of a nightmare. Way more people showed up than their servers could handle. They even had, some cell phone providers out there setting up mini towers to kind of boost cell phone signals. But Niantic servers just were not prepared for the volume of people and players who were going to be showing up in person and showing up around the event, because of course, not everybody could get into the event, so they were sitting around the park. And of course, you had the spoofers who were around the world spoofing their location at the event. Their servers just could not handle it, and the game went down. And now they're being sued because a lot of people from around the world spent a lot of money trying to get to that event, and they gave out some sort of reconciliatory prizes, like they gave you $100 worth of in-game items, a free Lugia, because Lugia is in the game now. Legendary Pokemon are making their way into Pokemon Go. Last weekend to like right now, we had Articuno and Lugia out there in the wild. I actually managed to get my hands on an Articuno, by the way, which makes me very happy. That was my favorite Pokemon from Gen 1. But just not a lot of players were able to play. And now they're being now Niantic's being sued. I'm not exactly sure how long or how far that lawsuit's going to go, but just a bit of interesting news on the Niantic Pokemon Go front.
This is why you don't base festivals and things like that on internet connection.
Yeah,
Like,
not a good idea.
that's why you don't base E3 press conferences on connection, especially Bluetooth.
It always fails.
Always.
It will always fail. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. I'm really not expecting them to the lawsuit to go too far. I don't see that going anywhere. But all right, if that's pretty much it for the news, I think it's time to go ahead and wrap up this week's podcast. What do you guys think?
I think we hit a good amount.
Right on. Let's go ahead and do this thing then. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into episode 42 of the End of the Week podcast. It's been a while since we did one of these, and it's good to get on a more regular schedule for you guys. But thanks for tuning in, and thanks for watching us live if you're here on the Twitch channel or on the YouTube channel. We appreciate you guys tuning in. But all right, before we get on out of here, we're going to plug our channels and let you know where you can find us across the internet, and if we got anything special coming up this week. John, where you at?
You can follow me at Cold Hard Cooks on Twitter.
That's big. Are you going to be cooking things with ice? Which, by the way, I'm mad about that. Cold Heart is an arc weapon. John Wisniewski came out after the trailer, or after the initial reveal for that thing, and he basically confirmed, oh, no, it's not a new element. It's an arc weapon. It's like, you burgers, you had the perfect opportunity to introduce a new element. You could even make it an exclusive element and say only trace rifles can be frost. But nope, it's just an arc weapon.
I feel like if you're gonna do that, then you gotta be green, blue, purple, and orange. You gotta have green or red or something.
Man, I don't care. I wanted ice.
I mean, you can't be blue again, can you?
Maybe. Cryo blue, although Arc kind of already looks cryo blue.
A little bit.
But yeah, and also something else we didn't mention. Swords are returning as power weapons in Destiny 2. They confirmed that in the Bungie AMA, and we're also going to be getting new types of swords, according to Luke Smith. What that means, no clue, but I'm psyched to see swords coming back. But all right, Nate.
Also, Duke said that LMGs are supposedly not returning.
Mm-hmm. I remember reading something about that. If that's 100% confirmed, that's an L. That is a fact. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Nate, where you at on the internet, man? What you got going?
You can find me everywhere at Cinnamon Fresh Breast Milk.
That's where you can find him, at the freshest. He sells it by the gallon, the freshest breast milk. Rip.
Hello.
Now.
Nate just died.
No.
Well,
you were talking and stopped talking. I'm everywhere at HuntArtists.
There you go.
Big. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at HuntArtists. Although, have you changed your YouTube ID to HuntArtist?
I did.
Okay, so you're YouTube.com.
I'm youtube.com/HuntArtist, yeah.
Excellent. I know you hit the required subs and viewership to be able to change your custom link. I didn't know if you had actually done it yet.
Yep.
Excellent, cool. And of course, you've got me. I am TheBlackLink. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet at TheBlackLink. Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, all of it at TheBlackLink. This week we are dealing with Destiny 2 withdrawal. You might notice we didn't have any streams during the previous week. That was because I just couldn't convince myself to play Destiny 1. I could not convince myself to get on that game, and I'm gonna have to jump back into it next week as we count down the weeks until the Destiny 2 beta comes out. So you'll have your usual stuff. You'll have your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streams at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Maybe some extra streams peppered in there for some Infinite Warfare, some Final Fantasy, and the usual stuff. Tune in, watch it. You'll see what happens. But all right, Guardians, that is going to be it for episode 42 of the End of the Week podcast, where every day is the end of the week. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we will catch you next week. Good timing. You just ended a match.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Yeah, Duke, the withdrawal is absolutely real. Are we still live, Nate?
We're going to not be live in about 4 minutes. By
Okay,
4 minutes,
fine.
I mean seconds.
I mean, that's perfectly fine. You can continue streaming for a bit. We'll stop the recording. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
I see you looking at my bay right now on stream. It's a couple seconds behind you, but yeah, that's my bay. That's Marina. That's my bay. But let me know when you guys are ready to stop the recording.
I'm ready.
Stop it in 3, 2, 1, now.
Ah, too fast! No, I'm kidding.
It's fine. It's probably fine. What's the timing on your recording?
106:57.
John?
109:30.
I'm 109.32.
Why does Nate's Audacity eat?
What?
8
Minutes.
30
Where-
minutes got eaten.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm spooked by it though.
It's only 3 minutes, but like, where did it go?
Ugh.
I don't know. I'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I want to know why it's doing it.
I'll get with you off stream and see if we can figure it out. If you're looking at Audacity, next to where it has your video output device, you should have an option for like Audio Host MME, Windows Direct Sound, or Windows WASAPI. What is it set to?
MME.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Dwayne.
Explain, Bungie, explain.
Explain. Bungie's balance is fake news. Duke, yeah, the withdrawal is real, man. It is. It's super real and super weird going back to Destiny 1 after playing Destiny 2. Just got to suck it up and do it though. Go do some Vault of Glass or something. While we're trying to figure out why Nathan's audio disappears into the ethos.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I sleep on Destiny 1? Well, you're not allowed to sleep on Destiny 1, John.
Actually,
I can't play that game by myself.
I'm gonna go into hibernation for like a good month. I'll see you in a month.
I might actually do the Nightfalls before reset this week because
I hear it's fun on Woodwalker.
yeah, because it's Winter's Run with Voidburn and Daybreak
And small arms.
and Small Arm, so it's like
But,
okay,
but who's gonna use guns when you got Daybreak Voidwalker?
exactly. That's why it's fun. That's why I kind of want to get into it. Duke says he played that Nightfall with his friend. I was not having any of it. I'd have fun with the Nightfall. I think that's I already like the Strike, and those modifiers aren't bad. That's not bad at all. I can deal with that. Maybe I'll stream that tonight or something. I got nothing going on tonight.
What you got going on is leveling roulettes with me and John.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. I'll do that whenever.
I'll do it.
I can do it. I can do it 5 times.
Only 5 though.
Only 5 times.
What are you gonna be leveling, Sean? Because I may invite Eric.
Probably not going to be leveling anything.
I mean, what are you gonna
I just
play as?
run it for creation, so I can do tank or DPS.
Sweet. Let me, or maybe I'll invite Mario Mans. He's
Depends
already
on what you need.
Fine, I guess you don't need me then.
Yeah, we do. What are you talking about?
You said you were gonna run it with Eric, and then Sean, and then you. So that's only room for like one more person.
No, I said I will invite Eric, and then I saw that he wasn't online, so I said, maybe I'll invite Mario.
Ah.
Yeah, you take priority, John. Don't
Yeah,
get your
dude, we're
feelings
just gonna pretend you're not here and kick you out,
Okay, that's cool.
jerk.
hurt. After all, who is this imitator who pretends to be Hercules? Maybe I should stream. Yeah, we're doing dailies. I don't mind streaming that. Or
Alright.
you can stream it since you're already live on my channel.
So,
I will not.
Do it. Do what you want.
It looks awful coming. I have to just like window record, and it's in 4K, and it just doesn't work very well.
Hold on. What are your settings? Are you running it in borderless windowed or full screen?
Borderless windowed.
Okay, good. That's what you should be running it in. On OBS, it should look fine.
It not only that, like running it on the same PC that I'm connected to the internet while playing the game, it just doesn't work. I've tried it. The game slows down to a crawl.
What CPU do you have, Nate? I forgot. What CPU did we get you to go with?
1070, I think.
No, that's the GPU.
CPU.
Your brain. I want to say we got you a 7700K.
Let me check. Specky, where you
Specky.
at?
To me.
Come here, boy. There he
Charlie
is.
comes bounding through the door.
I'll be your computer. Oh,
What's going on? Press buttons on me.
I am compute. Intel Core 6600K.
Okay, so 6600. Okay. I guess yeah. All right, I'll stream. That'll give me something to do.
Alright, everybody who watched, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want, you can pick this stream right back up on Sean's channel. If for some freakish reason you're watching on my Twitch. So, bye-bye.